hear me. Don't be persuaded by miracles. It's a bit like wealth. That we can do wondrous things does not imply we are therefore right in the way we live or in our motives or even right with God. It's not that He honors us with miracles because we teach everything that's right or have necessarily got the right values. It honors us with the opportunity of making miracles the same as He honors us with provision and opportunities for us to learn. It's not to be persuasive evidence that we're a wonderful person. Now, I don't mean this in some false humility. We're not worthy so much as to pick up the crumbs under thy table, O Lord. That's rubbish. Absolute rubbish. That might work in a fallen world of authoritarian power structures, but it's not in the loving relationship of truly person to person. And that is what God values. You see, I don't want my son to be inferior to me. I don't want to be exploited by him either, but do you understand? I want him to have the fullness of my being with all its blessings. And certainly I need him to be harmonious in his goals and purposes and ways with my ways and with all the ways of all life, that we live in the fullness that is conceivable of. So I'm not looking for service. I'm not looking for exploitation of the life forms around me, not just people, not just creatures, or perhaps creatures. Perhaps I'm talking about the sentient being, the one that can think and worry and feel and suffer pain. I want to be their blessing, not to be feeding off them. Lord, I'm not alone in this, surely. Surely this is who you are. And by surely I actually mean I just can't conceive of it as otherwise. Loving kindness is not validated, or even it's invalidated by a superiority, an inequality of position. Because of course we would treat all people, all persons, with love and care and kindness. I don't like inequality of loving kindness. There are actions that are for the best. In an imperfect world, those actions, in some sense, therefore compromise with evil. We might be giving more resources to one person than to another because they need such, given their dilemma of life. Might be blind. So we then try to compensate for their hardship and loss by perhaps an abundance of giving to them in other areas that we wouldn't necessarily give to all life. Giving to need, in other words. How right Marx was, that the best value system, the highest, that which is suggestive of bringing the most good, is that we take each according to his ability and give to each according to his need. What an insight, what a wisdom, what a kindness, such kindness. Only it's right, the world was not ready for it. In fact, it's the kingdom of heaven's members who are ready for it, and therefore enjoying it. The rest are suffering the lesson of exploitation that they learn deep in their being, that we treat others with the kindness with which we would treat ourselves, and we treat ourselves with the kindness with which we would treat others. And when those two coincide, well, that's the best. It's as simple as that. Thank you, Heavenly Father. Love you. And when I call you Heavenly Father, I'm just expressing a thankfulness for all your care and kindness. Does that make me inferior to you in some way? Merely a child? No. Makes me equal with you because of your loving kindness. Because it means I'm born of you. Your rights are my rights are yours. Your privileges, your goodness is mine because I am no more danger to you than you yourself. And though I appear separate, a child of God, they're all part of God. In a sense, we're part of the one person. in a good and lovely sense, whatever that is. And I'm not sure whether it makes sense to say he knows better than us, but I think you know what I mean. Love you, Father. Love you for your goodness, combination of selflessness, or I won't think I mean unselfishness, not selflessness. And yet, wonderful self that embraces us. And when we are like that to you too, then we are your true friend. In true fellowship. I can't quite define it safely in words, but I'm hinting or inferring that which is. The finest relationship. So we express it in terms of loving kindness and goodness. And we're not always clear what that is. But it alludes to something that God certainly understands. And that's what we value. Because we are children of God. Love you, Lord. Thank you, Heavenly Father. And I still use the old jargon because it helps most, given my limited conscious experience. Yet I know in my heart I claim an equality and oneness of being that is scandalously lacking in humility, to say the least. I am not a humble person. I'm a child of God. Fantastic. Utterly beyond my comprehension. Thank you, dearest one, dearest friend, Heavenly Father, and Divine Mother, and dearest friend. May it be as you understand loveliness and goodness to be. Thank you so much. Thank you, Heavenly Father. Well, I feel pressed to say, expounding on Marx, since there's so much hostility to communistic type theory, that I'm not talking about an imposed from each according to his ability, to each according to his need, but a spontaneity of such that's in the kind heart that wants to meet the great needs that some have through misfortune or whatever we like to call it. We long to address their dilemma come to their aid, rescue them, help them. And it's a spontaneity within us that loves to reach out to those that cry out in need, needs that we're not suffering from. I'm not talking about some system of imposition with its autocratic imposition. That was never remotely what Marx would value. I mean, goodness gracious. So let me just say there's never been a communist state. And, well, it almost defines heaven as I see it. But the words got so loaded with the experience of that which is not a communism at all, but an authoritarian, frightening, ghastly system, that you possibly can't hear me when I mention the word. It just brings all the wrong connotations to mind now. People like Stalin and so on in their manner. I don't want to criticize Stalin. I don't want to have to run to his defense either, because I may be misunderstood in saying something. Language is not perfect, is it? It's not perfect in what I want to achieve. It's very, very, very helpful, but not perfect. Because, of course, language communicates from one to another, and both persons, or the persons concerned, are not in harmony enough, typically, to receive the message as it was meant, sent. Our language is not perfect, because our experiences are different. I am extremely cautious of situations where some have and some have not. It has to be justified by an equality of fullness of life that's being aimed at. Perhaps not necessarily achieved, probably not. But I'm cautious of an equality of life opportunity that's missing. In the classroom there are advantages in experiencing opportunities of inequality that we might learn which inequalities are very acceptable because they achieve something more important than equality. They achieve a welfare of all that is hard to define, hard to ensure, but it's a goal in our hearts that is that everyone benefits from full abundance. In a world of scarcity, of course, that might mean all of us receive a lack of abundance, and that even such be extremely low welfare to each individual. We can imagine that in a Malthus type situation world, can't we? Where the population is so large that the resources are so few each, that the whole population's on the verge of starvation or dying. And of course we get various considerations then of birth control, so that such a dilemma is not experienced. I don't mean I have all the answers, but I do mean I'm very suspicious of inequality. It has to be justified by its achieving a Pareto improvement to equality. Now, a Pareto improvement is that all are either the same or benefit more by such. But when I start to have some lose at the cost of others gaining, well, it can only be somehow safe if those that are losing, it's by their enlightened choice, not oppressed humbleness of position that forces them to take it. See, the language and the purpose of love is not the same as selfishness. It's as simple as that, isn't it? I mean, I'm very ponderous here, aren't I? But, you know, I mean, let's not lose the wood for the trees. There's a simplicity going on, isn't there? A love and a care for others longs to reach out to their dilemma and bless them. That's who we are. We are children of God. Thank you, Heavenly Father.